Hey everyone, we are back. Welcome to our review for Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. This is a prequel to the previous film, Mad Max Fury Road. This is a prequel focusing on the character of Furiosa, which was previously played by Charlize Theron, and now be played by Anna Taylor-Joy, and also should be joining the villain of this film, played by Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, I'm here. This is Jedi Mike 7, and I'm here with Sam. Sam, how you doing?
I am freaking dope. What's going on, man?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. Yeah, so we actually got the privilege of seeing a parts of this film, or at least a glimpse of it at CinemaCon back in April. And again, we thought, this as being with George Miller, and this is a fan favorite for people. This and with the previous film getting multiple Oscar nomination and wins during that year at the Academy Awards. This was something to look out for. But yeah, we saw a glimpse of that in CinemaCon. So my expectations were nothing but high for this film. And again, I actually really enjoyed it. Just my initial impressions of it. Again, I enjoyed the cast of this film. Anna Taylor-Joy. Listen, if it's in the desert and it's Anna Taylor-Joy, it's gonna be blockbuster. Yeah, she's gonna be she'll be great in it because she was previously also in Dune Part Two. So yeah, she just been in that desert this whole year. So she's acting her butt off and everything. But I will say the one thing that I was concerned with this film was Chris Hemsworth playing the villain. I didn't know how he's gonna come across and stuff, but he actually to me was the best part of this film for me. And the most surprising thing, because I saw another range of Chris Hemsworth that I really haven't seen before. I'm glad I've seen this. I think this role allowed him to just grow in terms of his profession and stuff. And I'm looking forward to see what he does next. But yeah, but Sam, what you thought?
Yeah, so I didn't know what to expect of this because Mad Max Fury Road was a freaking masterpiece on so many different technical levels, and it kind of brought back like this old form of action that we used to love and know. But I did see, the first images and trailers for this, and I was like, first off, Anya Taylor-Joy has impressed me since Split, so I know she can do this. It's more of a question of, will I care about the narrative, and what is their approach to taking this character from where she is younger to where we know her in Fury Road. I just didn't know if it was going to be a sufficient ride, and I think it's good. I think it's a good extension to this franchise. I think that she is a standout in a lot of different ways, but the biggest standout, honestly, is Chris Hemsworth. He, on so many different levels, just embodies whatever he's trying to do in this role. Sometimes he's malicious, sometimes he's volatile, sometimes he's sympathetic, sometimes he's empathetic, and sometimes he kind of comes off this savior complex. And I think it's interesting from where we see him in the very beginning of the movie to where he ends up. It's almost like a testament of how this world will change people, because we know, where Charlize Theron's character Furiosa is in Mad Max Fury Road, and she very much so is questionable at times. Like, she makes some very questionable decisions, and much like that, I think that Anya Taylor-Joy's character goes through her own levels of evolution as well. So I think I like that aspect of the film, to seeing their ride to get through the madness to get to who they're supposed to be. But make no mistake, they are the standouts of this. And then the other standout would be George Miller. George Miller is 79 years old, bro. And this man decided to take this film, and I think he did full digital certified IMAX cameras. He's normally used to just doing film cameras. So for him to go down that road was a very interesting choice. But I do commend him for the attempt with it. I do have my critiques on it, because of kind of the way certain scenes look versus how I compare them to Fury Road. And I'll get into that on my critiques in a second. But go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, because speaking of, like my critiques of this, like just in this entire franchise, like I've only seen like the first Mad Max like once or twice. Again, not saying that they're bad movies or anything. It's just I haven't gotten into them. I don't know anything really about the lore. I just know this is another franchise, part of George Miller. that what he's known for, but I just haven't got into the Mad Max franchise and stuff. But when I saw Furio and everything, I thought it was a well-made film. And with this one, this still continues. Him as a filmmaker, how he able to capture action scenes and the way of his camera work and everything, and how they increase the intensity of a scene, and with how he using his camera. And yeah, he has a particular style, which is then it's like George Miller. That thread still continues on in this film and stuff. But yeah, but in terms of like with the lore, I was not really familiar with it as much as everybody else was. But and I think that kind of maybe added in terms of my just experience where, hey, I'm just some scenes I'm watching like almost like a 10 or 15 minute, almost 10-minute really car chase scene. And it's great. And I'm like, I know to make this scene probably took a lot of work and stuff, but that's all I'm just watching right now. I don't know what's going on in the world, and some virus or or I know it's post-apocalyptic world and everything, but nothing. So I'm just kind of getting the gist there, but I'm just on for the ride, no pun intended. But yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because my critique is something that is really kind of petty in the sense. The film looks so good and so sharp, and because it's not shot with film, instead with digital IMAX, there are scenes that do not look the way I think he was trying to have them look versus Fury Road. Fury Road, almost every single scene seems completely practical, from fire, from car chases to explosions. Like everything seemed practical, and it looked like there was very limited uses of CG. And with this film, I felt because of the conversion of it, there was a lot of scenes that took me out. I literally felt like, oh wow, that's a CG moment. That's really heavy CG. And it's weird because I know that there are set pieces that he made for this. I know that there are moments where they're going through a chase, it's going this way, and it's just they're adding a CG character in to keep from somebody actually dying. But I felt like I saw more CG here, and it didn't feel as authentic and practical, even though he probably wasted no time making sure that there's a lot of practical sets and a lot of practical chase scenes and practical action scenes. Because of the way that it was filmed, it just didn't feel that way, unfortunately, to me. It kind of felt like it's not down the level of like Spider-Man. Like, a lot of people don't know that Tom Holland is a great gymnastics acrobat. Like, he can do these flips. And the last Spider-Man movie that came out, when he was having that fight on the bridge with Green Goblin, he was doing all that. Like, that's actually him in the suit. And they just have motion capture suit him doing all these acrobatics, but you never see it. It looks like it's just a CG character doing it, and it's actually somebody actually doing it. It's not to that level. But I think that there's just this, I don't know, this tonal and color grading, and even the way it feels, it's just different when I compare the two. And of course, I mean, there's no CG for the originals as far as digital CG is concerned. So I don't know. I think that was the thing that kind of took me out with this movie. It just kind of feels like, it suffers from adding a little too much on the digital side. Because the lore in and of itself, like this, I didn't have any expectations of this because I knew this wasn't Max's story. I knew this was Furiosa. I don't know anything about her. So I was going to be fine with whatever direction they take it. And make no mistake, the opening of this is freaking phenomenal. Like, it's taking place in the dark, in the desert, and it pops off really quick. But I think that as it progresses, there are certain scenes that just, I don't know, it just felt really heavy CG, and it just took me out of, I think, the amount of level of scope that I remember from Fury Road. And again, I went back and re-looked at Fury Road, and I was like, maybe it's just me. It was like, no, it's just kind of the way it looks, unfortunately. But marginally, in terms of their acting, the action, the way they kind of handled the progression of the story, I didn't have those real big issues with that. I mean, certain stuff is just really cheesy and on the nose and really trippy, but outside of that, I think it was really entertaining and really decent though. But yeah, go ahead, Mike. Final thought.
Yeah, I think also another thing too, which I mean, again, if you probably by seeing this, you already knows that the box office of film has not been great. But I think probably what might be a con for this film is just the fact that none of the original actors are returning from this film because it's a prequel. Again, Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron. Again, I think that's what also people were there for. Not saying that it's Chris Hemsworth, it's Anya Taylor-Joy. They have people that have definitely brought money into the box office over several times, throughout their career. But I think also this is another thing of a sequel that is, I think, also been almost far too long. This is almost what came out 2015.
15, yeah.
And it's like that's almost like 9 years ago. Like I was like,
Uh-oh. Mike got froze up for a second. But no, I get where Mike's saying with this because it's been close to a decade. And it's interesting because there is a lot of star power. There is Tom Hardy, there is Charlize Theron, there is Nicholas Hoult, and Zoe Kravitz, an amazing talent. And I think the truth of the matter is, even from a box office standpoint, the original didn't make a lot of money. It made $380 million, which sounds a lot, but when you think about marketing and everything like that, that didn't line up. The thing that won this for the original Fury Road was the fact that it got a lot of award recognition. It got a lot of accolades. It had a near perfect Rotten Tomatoes score, and I think it still does. So it got its flowers on the awards and the recognition and just giving George Miller like that oomph back. And I think that even though you have amazing talent in Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, it is very different. And I think with this one, I didn't expect it to get a lot from the box office. I am glad that, people received it pretty well. But yeah, I never thought that the return was going to be as high either way. But I do think it was still very entertaining. So for me, as far as a rating for Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, I rest this at a B- to C+. I think I'd probably keep it as a B- because I think if I go back and rewatch both of them again, and then kind of go and trickle down to see, because technically I'm trying to think where this would take place as far as prequel to sequel. But as far as the full Mad Max Saga, there are certain ones that I didn't necessarily care for as a whole, but I think that they did a really good job with this one. So I'd rest it at a B- to C+. Mike, unfortunately, I think he's dealing with technical issues. So I'm probably going to be the one to close this out. I don't know what he would rate this. So I'm just going to kind of keep my mouth shut. But I will give him a quick plug. You can go and check out Jedi Mike 7 on his YouTube channel, on everything social media, whether it's TikTok, whether it's X, whether it's Instagram, and find his collective interviews, discussions, and podcasts as well that he has on a monthly basis. So go and check out Jedi Mike. I'll put that in the description bar below. And yeah, go and check out our content. We've got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. We've got reviews, discussions, interviews. We got film festivals. We got cons. We're going to be at San Diego. We're going to be at TIFF. We're going to be a lot of different places. So much like CinemaCon, make sure you stay abreast of our social media pages. We'll be posting up a lot of different things, specifically on TikTok. So I want you guys to kind of know what's coming down the line. But I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Again, go to the description bar below and check out Mike's content. We'll talk to you guys soon. I will have him put his rating number or letter in the comment section so you guys at least have it there. All right, guys. Take care. Thank you guys for watching. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, people. Filing out the top of I can see the skyline. 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind.